Ohio State is trending toward naming Arthur Smith as its offensive coordinator heading into the 2026 season. Let's talk about what this means for the Buckeyes and what Arthur Smith might bring to an offense that doesn't need much, but certainly needs a nudge. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer the question in the comments below. What do you think of Arthur Smith trending toward becoming the next offensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes? Let me get out in front. Berm at Letterman Row had this first, right? And, well, I got it. So Arthur Smith, former offensive coordinator for Pittsburgh, former offensive coordinator for Tennessee Titans, former head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, becoming new offensive coordinator at Ohio State would be rather Ryan Day-like, right? We know that Ryan Day enjoys an NFL presence on his offense and defense. We know this because he hired Matt Patricia, who had been a former head coach in the NFL and outstanding defensive coordinator in the NFL, to be the Buckeyes defense coordinator. All he did in year one was put together the best scoring defense in the entire country. You could say he had Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Caden McDonald, Caden Curry, but I would also say he utilized them. And more importantly, he got it in year one, right? What took Jim Knowles 3 years to get Ohio State's defense up to, Matt Patricia hit the ground running, and that is what you want when you are hiring your offensive coordinator. You want someone that can hit the ground running. That's why he went with Chip Kelly, who was a former head coach and in the NFL and in college. And you're seeing a trend here. Former head coaches in the NFL being coordinators for Ryan Day feels like a really good fit. But also, you're talking about a guy who could hit the ground running, knew the offense, and knew what Ryan Day wanted, and still had another level set in that, yeah, man, you could 100% expect Chip Kelly to want to run the football, but could still level up to, now we're just going to throw the football to Jeremiah Smith and see if you can stop. It turns out 2024, nobody could. 2025, same difference. Brian Hartline was the offensive coordinator last year, but also a guy that could hit the ground running, as he's been a part of the offensive coaching staff since 2018, and even been offensive coordinator 2023, just not the play calling privileges, or had really had them with Ryan Day. The thought here is that Ryan Day should be the CEO of Ohio State football, which means that being a play caller is just a lot for him. It's a lot to put on his plate. And he took back those play calling privileges when Brian Hartline became the head coach at South Florida. But only then, right, did we get to see what it was the Buckeye fans are frustrated by. They don't see a lot of creativity in the offensive play calling, and they didn't see a lot of opportunities for Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith to do what they do while you're still trying to establish the run. The thing about Arthur Smith, though, is that's what he does. Like, if I'm going to tell you what I expect from an Arthur Smith offense, it is a reminder that Derrick Henry's historic 2,000-yard rushing season at Tennessee came with him as the offensive coordinator. That the Pittsburgh Steelers were at the fourth most rushing yards per game in the entire NFL in 2025, made the playoffs. As a head coach, it's hit or miss. It depends on who you're asking, right? I don't think he was a great head coach, but that doesn't disqualify you from being a great coordinator. Same thing we could say about Matt Patricia. And a lot of Buckeye fans were out on Matt Patricia when he first got hired. And I think a lot of them will be out on Arthur Smith getting this hire. I realized that guys like Brian Dable, Todd Monken had been mentioned for this job, right? And guys that I thought might have been good fits for this, but also dudes that coach in the NFL tend to want to stay there. Chip Kelly wanted to stay there, just went out the way it went out. Day also really does lean on his experience as a quarterback's coach and an assistant at that level. And I think that is also targeting back to Urban Meyer hiring him to be the offensive coordinator, a proven recipe for success at a place like Ohio State. If you're selling, we're going to get you to the NFL in the first round, perhaps you are going to put NFL coaches on your staff with the knowledge that they are coaching college football. Now, I'll also add here that, believe it or not, Arthur Smith was a grad assistant at North Carolina and a defensive intern at Ole Miss, but that was years ago, right? And really rose up very quickly. And as far as what we would expect from a quality control assistant at the college level to be an offensive coordinator, head coach by 2021, right? So what else could we know about what Arthur Smith might be able to provide. Can coach quarterback at a high level, Julian Sand, we understand. But can he get Bo Jackson to being the kind of tailback that he now seems capable of being? That I think is going to be essential. Is the run game on the offensive line going to get better? Is the pass blocking game going to get better against better competition? Are they going to be able to move people off the ball? If I'm going to point out a weakness for Ohio State, it's that they could not necessarily run the football when they wanted to against good teams. Can Arthur Smith help them with that? Can he help Tyler Bowen, offensive line coach, with that? And are there still moves to be made on the offensive line that we haven't seen? Is there a different blocking scheme? Is there a different weight training regimen or winter training regimen you want to put them on that works at the next level? These are new ideas that I think you're expecting a guy like Arthur Smith to take. But also, I'm gonna tip a cap here. I really am. It's not often that you see guys that were coaching in the NFL playoffs take a job in college because they see it as a step down. I don't, you don't. We certainly know that Ohio State is better than, I'm going to say, 20 of the 32 jobs as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. I genuinely believe that. And I think that if you are doing work at Ohio State, you can stay forever. To ask Larry Johnson Sr., right? The head coaching job doesn't come open all that often. We're talking about, if you count Luke Fickell, and most people do because that 2011 year is what it is, you've got 4 head coaches at Ohio State basically since Tressel took over, and I want to say 2000, right? Like, that's a wild number. But even before then, you got 3 coaches between basically 2000 and the 1950s, guys. I mean, Woody Hayes, 4 coaches. No, 3 coaches. I was right. Woody Hayes, Earl Bruce, John Cooper. It's just not a job that comes open all that often. And if you win at a high level, you get to stay there for a long time. I like the hire because I know what Arthur Smith was able to do at the next level. I also like the hire because Ryan Day has earned the right to make these decisions without being second guessed. And I didn't second guess him on the Matt Patricia thing, and it worked out just fine. I'm not going to second guess him on this one because, I mean, Brian Hartline was good. Chip Kelly won a national championship, as much as you want to say it. And it takes a lot for a guy that genuinely loves play calling and genuinely loves being a part of the process to give it up. There are a lot of things you could say about Ryan Day, but among many of the great things I love about him is his humility and his integrity and his want and desire to make Ohio State football into the best version of itself that it possibly can be, while also taking in all the heat that comes with it. It's a man whose job has been called for at least 4 times in the last 4 years. And if you look at his coaching record, it is ridiculous that happens. But that's the age we live in. I get it. He gets it. And that's the price of being the head coach at Ohio State. Now that you have 2 former NFL head coaches as your defensive and offensive coordinators, you can expect to see much more complex scheme, I think. And Arthur Smith understands the assignment. We're going to try to run the football, but we got 4 over there, and they do not. So if you got to play the 2-man game with Julian Sand and Jeremiah Smith, that's exactly what you should do. Excited about this for the Buckeyes, and I think this is a really great hire.